begin with opening remarks from Mr. Shaquille Dillon.
Reading from the Old Testament, may the work I have done speak for itself. From the founding of Southern University in New Orleans in 1880 to the relocation to Baton Rouge, Louisiana in 1914, Southern University has been the beacon of light, not only to this state, but to this nation. 132 years of its existence, the only historically black college and university system with rich history that speaks for itself. From the marches to the Capitol, to the death of Mr. Smith and Mr. Brown. History that proved the resilience, the persistence is what kept this university alive. Passion, experience, and service are not only the characteristics of a true leader, but are the characteristics of a man. Since fall 2010, I have rolled up my sleeves and worked for you, the students of SU. From saving our sophomores and sophomore class president to snapping back into reality as Men's Federation president. It's not what I've learned that it's not about what I can do for you. It's what we must do as a family of Southern University. ESPN, empowering. A university with such rich history as the soil that covers 512 acres that this campus sits on. Support, which begins with SU. Continue to support the Southern University adversity that the university is facing. Planning to suffice our transit issue by planning for the worst, but hoping for the best with our own SU Transit as LSU. Networking, implementing the CIA initiative, community, innovations, and alumni. Empowering the students of Southern University and Agricultural and Mechanical College through supporting, planning, and networking. It's not what not me, but we are Southern University. Not not me, but we are the future of this university. Not not me, but we must fight for our university. Number one on the ballot, vote Shaquille Dillon, a 21-year-old political science major from the great but small town of Franklinton, Louisiana, where there is the world's largest your 2012-2013 Student Government Association President. Thank you.
Gentlemen, this has been a very extravagant campaign season, I think, for a lot of people. In regards to that, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry that I have to apologize to you. I apologize because this year I couldn't afford to give you campaign t-shirts, chips, and drinks. I'm sorry. I apologize because I couldn't afford yard signs, billboard signs. I'm sorry. I'm just a regular student, just like each and every one of you, facing the same problem. But let me tell you one thing that sets me in this election. It's not the suit that I'm wearing. It's not the organizations that I'm a part of. The thing that sets me apart in this election is my message. And my message is, I'm here to represent. I'm here to represent the hundreds of students that sit in a 12-hour financial aid line sweating and still get the same extra order, or can I please get a show of hands? That's what we need to do. I'm here to represent all of the on-campus commuter students that go to class late every single day because there are not enough parking spots. We need to expand. I'm here to represent all of the students that pay $1,500 for a meal plan and still feel as though the quality of food is unacceptable. Here to represent not only juniors and seniors, but I'm also here to hear the problems of freshmen and sophomore students because every opinion matters. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to represent every student on our campus, no matter where they're from. Whether you're from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, whether you're from Shreveport, whether you're from 504 New Orleans. In the words of Mr. President Sumner, whether you're from that big dirty Dallas, Texas. Again, my family, my friends, my fellow students, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to fight, I'm still fighting for us, I'm still fighting for each and every one of you, and I will forever fight for SU. Thank you.
Lastly, we have Mr. Willie McCorkle.
Today, I stand before you with a servant's heart. When we made the decision to become members of the Jaguar Nation, we were made a promise, the Southern Promise. We were promised a quality institution capable of providing each of us with a quality education. We were promised an environment conducive to living and learning. We were promised a degree of safety from crime and harm. We were promised access to a diverse array of student programs and activities that allow for personal, professional, and economic development. We were promised the counseling and advisement needed to matriculate, and we were promised to be prepared for the next step in life. My fellow Jaguars, that promise is under attack from all sides. We have a governor that wants to dismantle the only historically black college and institution in America, Southern University, and even allow guns on our campus's streets. On our way to campus from the back, we have to detour because the lake in the circle has formed again and our grounds are soaked from bad drainage. When we get to the library to print our homework, we have to use the XP computer systems created and released October 25th, 2001, instead of the updated Windows 7 software. Only to find out the $5 they gave us at the beginning of the semester is all gone. We walk past the places where construction has finalized, yet the grass hasn't been restored. When we park or drive, we are ticketed and penalized for rules and regulations we know nothing of. When we want to eat at a restaurant, we have to drive to College, Corporal, Plank, even as far as Blue Bonnet, because there is no economic development right here in our own neighborhood. That promise is threatened. We will need a strong leader with the common touch and understanding of the students and passion to get the job done. Over the past few years, I've served the students as the Chief of Staff of the sophomore class and Senior Advisor to the SGA President, ensuring that the will of students is an important part of the decisions of student leaders. When the university declared financial emergency I was selected to serve as a student representative on the restructuring committee, where the plan was devised to create the new Southern University.
Mr. McCorkle, your time has expired.
Southern University, if not now, then when? If not me, then who? My name is Willie McCorkle III.
Our first question tonight comes from Twitter. The first question from Twitter tonight is as follows. As we all know, Southern University is in some of the most trying times we have ever faced. How can you, if elected SGA president, keep the morale of the students up and also keep up with recruiting and retention? Mr. McCorkle, we will begin with you, and this will be a 60-second response.
Definitely the morale of the students here at Southern University needs to be reestablished. The pride of the students here at Southern needs to be reestablished through effective communication and relaying the information that the SGA gets to the students so we have the same conclusions to the problems and concerns that are being attacked to this university. We will come together as a university to attract the students of the surrounding area, to attract the students from our hometowns all across America. Southern University now, Southern University forever. Thank you.
Mr. Lanus.
I think that LSU is using perfectly, and that's using BRCC Community College as a tool to draw in more students. As far as the morale of the students on campus, I think the morale is strong, but I think that we have to create a stronger bond with our teachers and our professors, because as of right now, Governor Jindal is making it a lot harder for them to want to stay and work in South Louisiana because of the current situation that's going on with the budget cuts. Thank you.
Mr. Dillon.
Southern University, Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in every way acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Southern University, we must put God first in everything that we do. He is the forefront of our life. Through this, we can bring the morale back to Southern. We must not only focus on the students of Southern University, but as the community, the state, the nation. We must come together as a HBCU and bid out to the other HBCUs across the world. As far as retention, we must build our networking skills as far as going back to small places like Opelousas, Louisiana, Tallulah, Louisiana, Marlboro, Tyler, Texas. Those places build people that we need that will be a great asset to the university. So with that being said, Southern University, we must educate ourselves, but not only our communities, but this nation on what's happening on our campus. Thank you.
My question is for all three candidates, and it's in relation to the referendums that your President Dadrius Sumner spoke about. And first off, Dadrius and the current SGA administration, a lot of the things that I heard today from you are things that have been being fought by students for years. When I was on SGA, we talked about these fees, so I commend the current SGA for making these things happen after years and years of fighting. But my question for the three candidates, you all talked about several improvements that need to be done on campus, technology improvements. You talked about, we heard about parking earlier. As Student Government Association President, would you authorize or would you ask the student body to use this increased fee to bring Chris Brown and whoever, Chris, what's his name? Chris Brown, and all these other artists that you want to bring, would you use this week? Students, the first thing we need to do is be respectful to not only your peers up there, but to me as well. Candidates, again, my question, would you use these increased fees to bring artists here for homecoming to advance some of the technology improvements that you want, or to help increase the situation with the potholes or your parking situation?
Mr. Dillon, we'll begin with you, sir.
Southern University, we must not only focus on our campus, we have to be the alumni that come back to our campus and see the change that you want to see. We must not put money towards a rap artist that's going to charge us $100,000 for them to come and perform 2 songs. We must focus on within Southern University. So many people here at Southern University have so many talents and so much aspiration as far as the university. We can put those to new computers in the library. Bradford Hall parking lot has not been used since the fall semester of 2008, which is the Honors College. That is a closer community parking lot where students can be right there, close to the union, and feel like home. They can be able to walk from there to class, stop by the union, pick up things, walk and talk to the administration, but they won't have to walk in 105 heat from all the way from the union, from the field house or from the mini dome. So I do not think we should put forth the money into a pop star. We should focus on the campus of Southern University. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm actually glad that President Sumner brought up the student sense fees. That's one of the things that I was going to talk about as far as funding our human jukebox band. Another thing that I wanted to do was bring in more sponsorships. One coming from Raising Cane's Chicken, and another one coming from Coca-Cola Bottle Company, who wants to give $50,000 to our illustrious human jukebox. And Raising Cane's want to give $25,000. That's $75,000 right there. But as far as should we use that money to go towards other artists, I think that the students deserve to get more back for what they give. They go to school year round, they do their job, and it's their money. As J.G. Whitworth says, it's our money, we want it now. You don't deserve it, you already have it.
Definitely, the focus of the fee revision should not be on any rap artist, pop artist, or any R&B singer of that nature. The focus needs to be on improving the situations to make a better student life for the students on the campus of Southern University's campus. The operating costs and the money that is being generated right now is like this. With the fee revision that I am in support of, it will bridge the gap between that operation cost and the money that is being received. Most importantly, supporting the Human Jukebox, which is the flagship organization of recruitment to Southern University. We need to have that fee so that students are attracted, students are recruited, students are retained, and the graduation rate is increased. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go back to the panel, there are several questions that have come specifically for each of the candidates via Twitter. So I will shoot each candidate a specific question. Mr. Dillon, we will begin with you, sir. This question comes from one of our audience members via Twitter. The question states, you have been elected for 2 positions for the last 2 years, and all that has been accounted for was 2 glow-in-the-dark parties and 2 pageants. How do you know if elected to carry out your platform? You have 60 seconds.
Sophomore class president 2010-2011, I have brought and raised the standard for our class. Team 2013 was put on the map prior to the previous year. With Men's Federation, 2 weeks after I was elected, I took a recruitment trip along with my cabinet to Atlanta, Georgia on our gas expense just to recruit. I worked with Jaguar Preview, waking up 6 o'clock in the morning, registering people's students, making sure everybody had when I came in. Southern University, it's time for us to support, which begins with SU. We must support things in the community as far as the Susan G. Code, cancer war rate. We must support everything in our community for the community will support us. And if elected, I will continue to support the students, having a one-on-one conversation with you personally. We failed to build the bridge between the communication between the students. Everybody don't have a Twitter. Everybody don't have a Facebook. We must not door to door, but door to door in the community to acknowledge and educate everybody on what's going on in our university. Thank you.
Mr. Lanus, this question comes to you via Twitter from an audience member. How do you feel about the various trips that SGA has taken in the past using student funding, and will this change under your administration?
Leaders in SGA, they have a hard job ahead. They have a very hard job ahead. And they do deserve to be rewarded. But serving as Senate Pro Tem and seeing the budget as it was, I think that a lot of trips that were taken were unnecessary. So absolutely under my administration, that would come to a halt and the money would be generated or transferred towards other things that would be more beneficial towards the students and towards our university. Thank you.
What did he say? This question comes to you from an audience member via Twitter. How do you feel you have time to be SGA president and you haven't been in SGA? How do you feel you can serve with no experience?
Leader that I am, and take the self-initiative to step up and be a leader in those organizations that I am a part of. It's not about me being a part of any SGA because I'm right there in the trenches with the SGA president advising him. Served on the sophomore class cabinet as chief of staff, reaching out to Team 2013. Looking to be the leader of the students of Southern University as SGA president. Having a direct relationship with the former SGA president, Mr. Justin McCorkle, 2005-2006, that gives me the direct insight of how to manage, how to maintain, and how to be SGA president of Southern University.
Mr. Willie, Grant, for a question.
This question is for all the candidates. As a member of student government, as a proud graduate of Southern University, currently in my role at Dadrius Community College, I speak to a lot of prospective students that would like to get into Southern University. However, they've either spoken with someone that went to Southern or had a bad experience at Southern University. And unfortunately, they like to spread that negative image around. What would you tell your former students or anyone else that has something negative to say about Southern and attract more students to this university?
Mr. Lanus, we'll begin with you, sir.
Again, as I said before, when it comes down to BRCC, I think that a very important thing to do would be something that LSU uses effectively, and that's to take those students and bring them to Southern University, because we have actually lost a lot of students. Southern University, in the last 2 years, our student population has went down from 10,000 students to 6,700 students. That's absolutely unacceptable. As far as rebuilding that image, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take everybody in this room right in here to spread that word. Tell them to come to Southern University. You all love Southern University, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here tonight. That's what it's going to take. Thank you.
With myself majoring in mass communication that allows me the direct tools, the direct access to be able to disperse a positive image, the positive information about things that are going on right here at Southern University to the local news stations so that those people can create our reports and send them to CNN, where what's going on at Southern University can be nationwide, global-wide. Me, myself being a mass communication major, and beyond that, with getting a positive image out, with my vice president having a relationship with him, with his role is to reach out and be the liaison to BRCC and LSU SGA. I can go with him myself to create those relationships, establish relationships so that in Baton Rouge, there won't be any attacks on us as institutions of higher education. We'll be on a oneness, a same level to where we are all looking to educate those students who are looking to be educated in the state of Louisiana and bring us to higher education. Thank you.
What would you tell that particular student that has something negative to say about something?
There shouldn't be any argument, because the work that we are doing as students, the work that we will be doing as students, will overrule that and put us in a positive light to where any negative images, any negative media that is being portrayed upon us will be out of the way, out of the problems and concerns of us, and the positive light of Southern University will shine bright and bring us into a brighter future. Thank you.
Mr. Dillon.
Southern University, we must create that communication not only with the students of BRCC, but the students of Camelot College, the students of Virginia Technical College, the students of LSU that wants to come to Southern University. Southern University student life is here, and it's going higher and higher and higher. And as students, we must get out into the community and promote the general welfare of Southern University. Southern University has done so much for me because I didn't want to come to Southern University. I was going to LSU. But my mentor chose for me to come here because there are opportunities. Doors opened up for me. I will be the first male in my family to graduate from a four-college institution. That's an accomplishment for myself and my family. Those are the kind of things we need to tell people. We have different organizations here that people would like to join. People would like to see. My mother always told me, be the change that you want to see in the world. So with that being said, we must go out and create that bond, create that bridge between the students of the other universities and the campus of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Thank you.
Representative James for a question.
I have three separate questions. The first one deals with voting, and this is for Mr. McCorkle. Talked a lot about Governor Jindal's plans to dismantle Southern University, and I agree with you, and I deal with those challenges every single day. But one thing, when I tried to defend, and when others tried to defend Southern University students, the first thing that those on the opposite side that seek to destroy this university, the first thing they talk about is the level of voting participation by Southern students. The precinct here at Southern University is one of the lowest voting precincts in the state. If elected Student Government Association president, how can you not only encourage participation in the process, but encourage your students to get out there and actually vote to make sure that we put people in office to protect this university?
One of the main things that I want the students to understand, most importantly, the most effective tool we have against suppression is exercising our right to vote. It doesn't need to be violent, but through voting, that is the most effective way in today's society that we can fight against suppression. Most importantly, coming up on April 21st, we are voting on better transit in Baton Rouge area. Southern University has about 1,000 or so students who are registered to vote on this campus, and this precinct is where they go to vote. Getting the information released to those students about having voter registration drives, about when they would get their voter registration cards, where they need to go to vote, what they need to do on the day of election, how you will be provided transportation, are the things that need to be released to the students so they have a better understanding of voting and coming out to vote and the importance of voting, which will ultimately increase the turnout rate of the voters at this precinct at Southern University. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCorkle. Mr. Dillon, one of the previous candidates on their platform talked about book scholarships. If elected Student Government Association president, would you forego your clothing allowance to offer book scholarships for your peers?
Can you repeat the question for me?
Would you use the money that's allocated for you to wear nice suits on Saturdays for your students to receive book scholarships?
Yes, I would. Students of Southern University. Southern University, I have a family that is fully behind me, that will pay for my students, that will buy my clothes for some other student to exceed in their books. We have students here who come from all the way around the country. People from Maryland, people from Washington State. They come with nothing but the clothes on their back. No money in their account. Not enough financial status to buy their books and exceed. And you know how I am. People do not like to lend their books. They would rather sell their books. But the financial state that we're in, every semester there's a new edition of a book that is being released. That History of Civilization costs $145. Biology book costs $200. Southern University, I will give up my personal money for my suits on Saturday for you, for the students to exceed in their education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Mr. Lanus, your platform talks about holding Aramark accountable. What are your plans to hold Aramark accountable to the students of Southern University?
Mr. James, in my hands I hold two significant pieces of information. One is a picture that was taken at Dillon, which shows flies, infestations on food that the students eat here at Southern University. In my other hand, I have the Aramark contract, which clearly states inside of the discrepancy clause that the quality of food is not up to the standards that were signed inside of the contract. We can reevaluate the contract and find us another vendor. I will hold them fully accountable, and this right here would never happen under my administration. Thank you.
Last question from the panel will come from Mr. Dwayne Franklin.
This question is for Mr. Lanus. Mr. Lanus, as you can look around and see all the participation and how seriously the students take the campaigning procedures here at the university, in your opening statement, you apologized for not being able to solicit funds for your campaign. However, does this show how you will not be able to solicit partnerships for the university, for the students? Will you not go that extra mile and try to gain the support to compete with whomever you have to? Absolutely not. I hold very strong relationships inside of the community. One being with Bayou Cafe, who wants to come into Southern University and help out as far as generating funds and also giving food to our students. They are a very strong partner because they give food to our track team. Also, the Table is Bread is another strong sponsor. Also, Sam's Club is another strong sponsor who I hold very strong communications with. Also, Walmart is as well. So, I mean, as far as the whole campaigning thing goes, about me not having anything, I could have went out and I could have begged people, but I didn't want to go that route. I wanted to be a real student. I wanted students to see that it takes more than just campaign signs to get people to understand what the true issues are on Southern University's campus. Your friends, you can campaign with your friends all day long, but at the end of the day, you know if your friends are really the strongest candidate to serve your institution. Thank you.
Mr. Watson for a question.
This question is for all three candidates. You all have gone through the campaign season. In fact, you all aren't even finished with it just yet. My question to you is, if you had the chance, would you put a limit on the amount of funds spent on your campaign? And if so, what?
Mr. McCorkle, we'll begin with you, sir.
I believe that the work that is being done, or that you do as a person, all those blessings will come back to you tenfold. Through strategic planning, a budget should be revised and provided to fund the campaign, most definitely. But there shouldn't be a large amount of money spent, because it's not about how much you spend. It's about how you get out there yourself and establish those personal connections with the student, where they can see you as their future leader, where you establish those relationships looking to be the future leader of the students. They know where they can come to with their questions and concerns. It's a familiar face, a student just like you, just like myself. Thank you.
Dillon.
Southern University having a liaison between Grambling State University. At their campus, they are not allowed to have t-shirts. They are not allowed to have posters to put upside the buildings that tear down and destroy our beautiful buildings that we have here on Southern University's campus. They only can have billboards. They only can have flyers. They only can have yard signs. You don't have to have somebody's shirt on to say, I'm gonna vote for that person, because deep down in your heart, you know who you want to lead your school. You know who you want to bring your school to the bridge that you want to see. At Southern University, we must not put all this money towards campaign. I'm pretty sure, as far as this campaign go, all of the candidates has spent over $15,000. We must put that money towards something on campus to where we can come back 5 years from now and to see we did that when we was at Southern University. Southern University, I will put a limit to what the SGA president, the Miss Southern candidates, and all the rest of the other Southern University candidates have in their campaigns. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
Quite honest, I don't think that question can be answered any better than what Mr. Willie McCorkle, the way that he articulated that answer. Because it doesn't matter how much money you raise, if you don't have an established relationship with the students on campus, nobody's going to vote for you anyway. Enough said.
The last question for the SGA presidential candidates comes tonight from Twitter. State Representative Ted James has already referenced that Southern University has the worst voting precinct in the state of Louisiana. This is a two-part question. Part one, what are you personally doing to encourage students to go out and vote for the tax referendum on the ballot this Saturday? And the second part of that question is, as SGA president, what is your plan B for student transportation at Southern University if the CATS transit system is canceled in June of this year? Mr. Dillon, we'll begin with you.
As Men's Federation President, along with the Association of Women Students, Student Ambassadors, and the Student Government Association, we have put together the vote campaign to where we went out and registered students to vote. During the fall semester, we registered over 500 students on the campus of Southern University. This semester, I've joined the campaign committee along with Mr. Willie McCorkle for the Save Our Transit in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We must go out and vote on April 21st, but we must plan for the worst. If that referendum does not go through, we must plan, which is already is established with the president, with the chancellor, that where you sit in your dorm room, you can look at an app that says, oh, the bus is going to be here at this time, or I'm not going to be late, because Southern University is already in planning that, and they know that we're planning for the worst. And as far as SGA president going to be elected, every student that lives on campus should be registered to vote when they do off their checklist. checklist should be one of the, voter registration should be one of the check-off lists. They should be able to turn it in, and the RA should be able to say, oh, this is complete or it's not complete. But we can have every student on Southern University's campus registered to vote, especially with the 2012 presidential elections coming up. Thank you.
Mr. Dillon, what is your specific plan if the CAT system is canceled?
If the CAT system is canceled, what we must do from Saturday, April the 21st, we must sit down not only with the students of Southern University, but the administration and the alumni. We must plan that we're going to get these buses. We're going to contact LSU to see who they go through for their buses. And that way we will receive, because come 2012 August, we will have buses on this campus.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Mr. Lanus.
One thing that I've learned so far, as serving as community service president of NAACP chapter at Southern University, we did a voter registration drive. We gave out, we actually got a sponsorship from Sam's Club and Walmart, and we gave out hot dogs and we gave out drinks and chips to students as they came outside of the union. And we got a DJ as well. They played it. We registered about 300 to 500 students that day in one day, which was very good. If CATS was to shut down today,
Mr. Lanus.
yes, sir.
What specifically are you doing personally to encourage students to vote on Saturday?
So far, I'm talking to each student every day, letting the students know the severity of the situation and how we need to get out and how we really need to go out and vote. Now, if CATS was to shut down, I would keep the lines of communications open and to put in a bid with other companies that serve such universities like LSU and also the University of Illinois. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lanus. Mr. McCorkle.
With myself being the lead organizer of students to get involved and informed about the capital area transit system issue, that totally equips me to be able to answer this question. Through unbiased leadership, I have reached out to other student leaders such as Mr. Dillon to bring us all on board, all on the same page to get students informed. Matter of fact, there was a forum on March the 6th where a couple hundred students turned out to get informed and involved, which was on the local media, which shows the positive light of students taking action in the community in the city of Baton Rouge. Directly reaching out to each student to get out to vote April the 21st, explaining the importance of how the voter turnout needs to be to retain this voter precinct here at Southern University. And even beyond that, which I didn't want to release to the students looking forward to a successful election of the transit on the 21st, I've been in planning meetings with the CEO of CATS, Mr. Brian Marshall, to find alternative routes to transit so that if the election doesn't pass, it isn't avoided in the summer months where students are in the 105-degree heat having to walk to class, where transportation will be right on the back burner if need be. Other transportation organizations such as First Transit, which is a private organization which sponsors the LSU shuttles, looking to them to see their bid on trying to serve the Southern University students and get them to transport into class. It has been through the personal connections I've made with each student to explain to them the importance of voting, not only for CATS, but voting to save us as an African-American race. Thank you.
Each candidate will now have the opportunity to render a closing statement. We'll give each candidate 60 seconds. Mr. Lanus will begin with you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm blessed to have this opportunity for you to speak tonight. My closing statement will be very short. I'm going to get straight to the point. It's very important that when we go to the polls, we make the most important decision, not only for ourselves, but also for our institution. Even though we may have friends that may be running, even though we may have people who we've known for a very long time, maybe be family. If you know that that person is not the right choice, don't vote for that person. vote the right choice because we have some very troubling times ahead. At the legislature right now, they're trying to merge the Southern University system, the only historically black system in the country, in the world, into a PWI, a predominantly white institution. Ladies and gentlemen, make the right choice, the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lanus. Mr. McCorkle.
Southern University, we are still fighting against them trying to merge SUNO and UNO, a direct attack at the HBU system, Southern University, the only one in the nation. We are still fighting the times of financial exigency. We are fighting a bill that has just passed in the Senate, Bill 303, which allows people to carry firearms on university campuses. Today, we fought against House Bill 927, which is a direct attack to dismantle the only historically black college and university system, Southern University in America. Southern University, we are going to war against these issues. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? Willie McCorkle, SGA president, 2012-2013, going to war for SU. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
Southern University, we must not only forget what we are fighting for, but what we are going for. Every student in this room is fighting for an education, fighting for an institution that is being threatened on closing down or merging between another school. On April the 23rd, vote the candidate with the experience, with the passion, and with the service to not only fight for the voice of the students of Southern University, but the voices of the students of the world. Southern University, I ask that you just go out, no matter who you vote for. Vote for the person you want to lead your school. Vote for the person that helped you with financial aid, helped you get through the financial crisis that you was within. We are future alumnus of Southern University, and we must build a bridge back to the alumni with the undergrad. Southern University, empower the students of Southern University through planning, supporting, and networking. The #1 candidate on the ballot, Shaquille Dillon, Student Government Association President, 2012-2013. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your candidates for Student Government Association President. Thank you, gentlemen. And now we introduce to you Mr. Stephen Lewis and Miss Ayana Spotty.